Race family, good morning guys. Join me today as I make a drive to Real Street Performance to meet up with Jay and the team. Today's the day we're going to tear into my RS 2000 package engine. This is a motor that's been in Baltic for over a year now, but like you guys would have seen in my last Supra upload, I was starting to experience low oil pressure, and before things really escalated and I hurt this motor, I figured I'd pull it, bring it over to Jay, have him go through it and fix it for me, and we keep pushing forward, baby. I wanted to mention, with the help of Real Street Performance, they've helped me achieve my goal of owning an 8-second Street Supra, a 7-second Street Supra, and I don't know, but today might just be the day I start talking to them about plans to go sixes, baby. Stay tuned, race family. Let's make it happen.
Your laundry, Pedro.
Yes, yes, yes. I took the spark plugs out, and one of them got stripped.
Huh?
I didn't talk to you about that?
No.
So the last one, at Bradenton, I went to get a spark plug reading. I've never...
How I can tell you why.
No.
They don't strip. What happens is...
It got locked. It wouldn't come out.
Yeah. You may have damaged the plug, and then when you go to thread it out, the plug is steel, the head's aluminum, and the damage just wrecks the head on the way out.
I've never had that. And these are plugs that I put in one time, and this was the first time I was pulling them out to check them. So it's not even like I had retorqued the same plug multiple times.
Well, if you have an engine that stays together for a very long time, like an OEM car, ANECs keeps them from...
Yeah, I never use ANECs.
Well, because the plugs are out often.
Right.
But that cylinder may be in question when we get it apart, because if it damaged the end of the plug and you go to take the plug out, and that's a cylinder that likes to die on these engines anyway, because it's a hot hole.
The strap was on there, the plug looked well, but to get it out, we had to like...
Oh, we'll know when we get it apart.
Yeah, little by little. All right. Nonetheless, you guys know the deal, baby. Here with Jay himself, we're gonna tear into this motor. This is my RS 2000 motor that I've had for over a year now. This motor has proven to go many bottom 7-second passes. 750 is what I once wanted to do as like a dream. It's now consistent. On my drive here today, I reviewed my video from meeting with you 4 or 5 years ago, wanting to go an 8, wanting to go a 7.
Right.
And now I was kind of, you know, rehearsing myself for today's conversation. Now we want to go 6s.
No. Oh yeah, you do. There's a white one, there's a white Supra out there in the shop.
Yeah.
6s, I'll sell it to you.
Take that one?
Yeah, it's already got all the cages and stuff, and you'll be fine.
Jay, all right, let's tear into it and see what we find.
All right, sounds good.
But the bug just keeps on itching, man. This is scary.
That bug will never stop itching.
You once told me in one of my videos, the slippery slope of drag racing. As I was driving here, I was like, man, what's next?
Heroin.
Yeah.
Just find yourself in I gotta turn off. Some terrible place.
I Bonneville did.
Yeah, gotta go to Bonneville. That way you can stay high longer.
Yeah.
That's the problem with drag racing, it's over too quick. So you gotta keep up in the fix, you gotta keep up in the hit.
Yeah.
If you go to Bonneville, you can just get it for like a minute straight, and you're like, I'm good for a year. Hi, I'm Jay from Real Street Performance. This is Pedro with the Baltic Supra. Today we're going to take apart this engine. This is the engine that's been in his Supra for the past year or so. It lacks oil pressure. So he had made numerous runs with around 50 psi of oil pressure where it should be closer to 100. But when he was cutting the oil filter open and looking, the oil filter was staying clean. So the way a filter flows is the oil is in through these small holes and out through the middle hole. So the particulate will only be trapped on one side of the paper. So you gotta have to tear at it to get it open. And then you can spread it open like an accordion. Notice the oil color is light, which means it hasn't been like cooked to death. And looking through the paper, it does not look like we have anything really worth talking about here. Which is weird because we have an oil pressure problem.
I continued to race the car, although the numbers weren't great, because this is someone who's never had sensors at all. Like I've ran your motors for years and years, 0 sensors whatsoever. So I finally put a sensor and the numbers weren't good. I'm like, why did I even bother? I shouldn't have done this. So I just kept at it. I kept cutting the filters open and it looked clean, and I kept racing it. And she ran strong to the very last day that I chose to pull it out and bring it here. So, like Jay said, we'll keep digging and see what else we can find.
The cams look awesome, but these lobes look really, really nice. Now, what's puzzling about this is you have low oil pressure,
Right.
and this is splash lubricated.
Right.
So oil comes up through a galley on this side of the block and feeds these camshafts, which bleed out oil onto the bucket. So there's no pressurized oil on any lobes, just splash. So the fact that you are reporting low oil pressure, but all the splash lubricated components that have seen over 8,000 RPM or 9,000 RPM,
even more,
or more, they all look good. Which, again, I would ask about the accuracy of the gauge, but you're saying that you checked it with a secondary gauge.
Right.
So we'll keep digging.
Good thing I kept on racing.
Yeah. Do you really want to go faster?
I do. I really do feel that the setup that I had could have gone faster, just how the car was.
Pedro says something that we all say to ourselves.
Yeah, every single drag racer.
Yep, every one of them.
I know.
The
second you get the ticket, say I wanted to go 7:30, the second you get that ticket, it says 7:33, you're like, oh man, I'm so close to the 20s.
Oh, I'm so close.
That's easy. I know.
I've been there.
I mean, this is where I stand. I feel like, for example, like when I go to, say, Texas 2K, when I go to Florida 2K, I know from time to time they have like the 2JZ class. I never want to be a racer in, say, the 2JZ class, because in my eyes, leave that up to the shops. Like, I can't compete. I don't have the budgets to compete at that level, but I enjoy doing the street car shootouts. But even that, the street cars are getting crazy out of control. Like, commonly now at Texas 2K, Florida 2K, there'll be 6-second cars. And coming up this next year at Florida 2K, I anticipate there'll be easily 6-second cars in that class.
Yeah.
So I don't care to be the fastest, but I have to stay close enough to where hopefully a reaction light can give me that win.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll divide the classes up like they did in
I'm not trying to be in the slower class.
Well, I mean,
we got to make the top class. Whatever happens, happens then, but...
How do you feel about white?
What? Yeah, there he goes again. Salesman, huh?
I'm just trying to make it easy for you.
My channel is called Baltic Supra. It needs to be Baltic Blue.
You have a Jeep.
No, that is right.
Okay,
that is right.
So you are open for change. I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
The Baltic Supra and Jeep.
Yep.
Yeah, the threads are pretty whacked up in there.
Yeah, that one got beat up.
It doesn't look like it's been overheated, which is pretty good.
You found something?
No. Yeah, I found the spark plug threads. Look where they're at.
I know.
Isn't that cute?
I know.
Just a pile of them. Just a wee pile of aluminum.
Yeah. The rest are still clean, baby. You can still read the Real Street logos on there. I run this thing hard, guys. I run it very hard. When I'm in competition, I never had sensors before, but even now that I do, they're all off, baby. Let the sensors say whatever they want to say. If we're in competition, we gotta win. At least do my best. So I run this thing recklessly. I always have. So far, everything we see looks good. So I'm excited to see how the bottom end look. If these bearings are still in good shape or come out clean, I'm just gonna be like in shock. It's crazy. Jay builds a hell of an engine, and it truly takes everything that I throw at it. And that's why we have to go faster. Still looking for more. Still want more, man. Never thought I'd say that. After going to 7.3 at almost 190 miles an hour. I went 188 miles an hour on the parachute, and then I went another 188 at Florida 2K off the throttle like 30 or so feet before the finish. So the car was right there at 190 mile an hour track speeds. And it's a car that I can take everywhere. I gave so many buddies rides, fans of our YouTube channel. I drove the car everywhere. and enjoy doing it.
And it still wasn't enough.
It still wasn't enough, huh? Listen, it was enough.
190 mile an hour car. What's the fastest it's gone in top speed?
In trap speed?
Yeah.
100. I was saying, I went 188 on the parachute and 188 lifting like 30 feet before. Yeah. So, but it would regularly do 185, 187, 186.
It's an 86, 85 or 83, 85?
86.
Yeah. And it makes like 50 pounds?
Oh, I've seen 60 pounds.
Well, that's more than it wants to make.
At Florida 2K, I mean, it picks up power though, Jay.
From the back pressure like.
I don't look at that. There he goes again with the sensors. After the experience I had with this oil pressure sensor, I'm not buying any more sensors.
When Gio and I were on drive week, we wanted to know what the temp of the trans was.
Yeah.
So we put it on the dash, on the fly, because you could do that with the Bowtech.
And then you get panic.
We regretted it.
Yeah.
Because all we did was stare at the number.
Yeah.
It would have been better just not to know. Like, it's working.
So even on here, this is probably just silicone.
This is not supposed to be there.
What was that?
It looks like a bolt out of the back of the oil pump.
Oh.
Just dropped it in there. But it was just laying on that shackle.
Potential signs of the oil pump
Something
saying
funny
too much
happened.
RPM.
Something funny. I see your problem you want to talk about.
You see it?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, the
oil pumps
coming apart. Okay.
Yeah. So all these bolts are unscrewing?
Yep.
Look at that.
It's leaking.
And now our oil pump.
The old oil pump trick.
Alright guys, all these bolts are pretty much coming out by hand. They were all like that the second it came off the engine.
Yeah, there was a bolt. There's one of them in the.
So that one must have recently fell, or it could have.
Well, could have fallen.
Oh, I see. And just made it down there and stayed down there. Wow.
Oh, dude, you're golden.
No way.
Yeah. You have some of the best luck anyone I've ever met. I mean, of anyone I've ever met, it's so ridiculous, man.
No.
God, can I just stand behind you and buy some lottery tickets?
Yeah. Ain't that something?
Ain't that something? But you could see the ignition timing. Like, see this where the bearing looks different?
Uh-huh.
That's where the most cylinder pressure occurs. Yeah, that's effectively where it fires. You can see it right here.
Yep.
See how it's just off of, like literally you could look at it from crank angle and that's where it's banging.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's nice. This don't pay no mind to that. It's just because the bearing's been narrowed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good looking bearing. Especially with us stock wet sump stuff. So we've got the engine apart, and the damage list consists of an oil pump. One spark plug thread hole is pretty damaged, so that may require an insert. The head gasket was leaking some combustion. The bearings look good, the pistons look good, the crank looks great. Everything looks really good as far as the rotating assembly, which is a really nice surprise because of the oil pressure concerns he had. The block will have to get decked minimum. The head will be decked minimum. We'll have to align hone for the stronger main hardware, because whenever you change the main hardware, it changes the distortion of the tunnel, which then you align hone to get everything back true. But it looks like we will reuse rods, pistons, and bearings, and the crank. So all that stuff looks good. So we have a pretty, I guess not a very exciting amount of damage to report.
It's exciting to my wallet.
It's exciting to his wallet. But he's going to counter that.
Yes, I'm going to
He's going to counter that luck
with a larger
with
turbo.
a larger turbo.
Yeah. Listen, here I was thinking I was running this motor to its absolute limit. I'm like, man, I'm reckless. I'm running this way too aggressive, way too hard. We look into here, and I'm running it with a half-broken oil pump. The thing was making no oil pressure, and meanwhile, the bearings look new. Everything in here looks practically new. So I can't kill one of your engines. I gotta run them harder. So I'm gonna do so with a larger turbo, More nitrous, more abuse. Let's get after it, baby.
That's all his idea.
Yeah.
Anyhow, appreciate it. We'll get this thing back together, get him back to the track going fast.
See you guys at the next racing event.